see what Trudeau said today?
Wait, today?
Did you see I'll send it to you, Jamie, because it is wild. He said you don't have the right in Canada to own a gun to protect your life.
No, you can't.
It is one of the most wild things I've ever seen anybody say. Because first of all, I don't believe it's true. I don't believe he is correct in terms of what do they have up there? They don't have a constitution.
No, we don't.
It's not the same. But
Yeah,
whatever
it's
it
weird.
is,
It's like, I mean, they're still part of England and
Yeah.
UK, all of them over there. Well, they're under the rule of the Queen, theoretically, technically speaking.
someone sent it to me, and I don't know if I saved it because I was so disgusted. I think I might have just fucking threw my hands up in the air. But there's a whole Twitter thread about it that someone had sent to me, and I can't find it at the moment. But essentially what he was saying was that is not what's in the whatever they have up there.
Yeah.
That it says you have the right to own a gun for hunting and for shooting sports.
That's
You
it.
do not have the right to own a gun for self-preservation and to preserve lives. But apparently that's not even true.
Even if it was true, you have to think about what type of leader you're under.
All right, so I live in Canada, and I'm a firm believer of self-defense. But this is the thing about Canadian laws, is that it states that in Canada it's illegal to carry a weapon for the purpose of self-defense. And according to the criminal code, a weapon can be anything designed, used, or intended to cause death or injury, or even just to threaten or intimidate another person. So I live in Canada, and I'm really aware of the law, and it's really stupid and confusing. So let's just take this for an example. You have a pocket knife, okay? You're legally allowed to carry it as long as you're using it not in self-defense. You can use it to cut your boxes open, cut string or rope. You can say it's for work purposes. But as soon as you tell an officer that you're carrying a knife or anything, even a pair of scissors, anything for self-defense, it would be deemed a weapon and you'd be arrested and charged. Even if you're carrying the weapon and not using it in self-defense, if you just claim it's for self-defense, you're going to get in trouble. So you always have to claim that it's for something other than self-defense in order to legally carry it. It's honestly so stupid because if you tell somebody that the water bottle that you're carrying is for self-defense and you intend to use it for self-defense purposes, it could actually be deemed a weapon and you could actually be arrested and charged for it, which is so dumb. So in stating that, like Justin Trudeau is stating, is that you can carry a gun or firearm as long as it's for sporting or hunting purposes only and not for self-defense. But this is the thing, when can you actually use self-defense in Canada? And this is where there's a big confusion when it comes to self-defense in Canada, but the actual law definition states here, everyone who is unlawfully assaulted without having provoked the assault is justified in repelling force by force if the force they use is not intended to cause death or grievous bodily harm and is no more than is necessary to enable him to defend himself. So we do have self-defense in Canada, but it's really a gray area on what you can and cannot do. So for example, I got jumped back in the day by 15 guys. I asked the police officers if I could carry something for self-defense, and they stated that basically if the guys end up using a fist and punching you, then you're only allowed to use that exact same force to defend yourself. So I'd only be able to use my fist to defend myself, even if it's against 10 guys. But this is the thing, is that if they use a knife, then you can use a knife. So it only depends on what the criminal or the attacker is using for you, the defender, the victim, to defend themselves, which to me in Canada is really stupid. You should have the right to always self-preservation and protecting yourself, your life, as well as your loved ones. But there's a weird gray area that if you claim or if you feel like your life is being you're threatened to die or you think you're going to die, you can actually use extreme measures in self-defense. It's very rare, and it's only up to the judge if they will actually grant this to you in this certain case or circumstances, which I find absolutely absurd. Okay, I believe that we should have the rights to defend ourselves in self-defense by any means if you feel like your life is in danger or being threatened. Like in the States, if you're being attacked, you can actually use a gun in self-defense. But in Canada, it's a very gray area. You have to prove that your life was in danger. You can't just state that it was endangered, even if you're getting jumped by 15 people. There has to be actual probable cause to use it, and and it's all up to the judge. But in the US, like I said, check this out. This article states a gun owner shoots woman in self-defense inside Iowa grocery store. It states a woman who is being assaulted inside an Iowa grocery store shot her attacker with a legally owned gun in what police called an act of self-defense. The woman says she fired one round Sunday morning because she was blindsided, beat up, and put in headlock inside the Hy-Vee food store in Des Moines. And this is the thing, is if this happened in Canada, the lady that shot her would end up being arrested and charged, not the attacker. Alright, so let's do a little bit of a recap. So Canada does have self-defense, but it all depends on the judge and the circumstances. You're not allowed to use more force or exceed the force that is happening. So if they use a fist, you can only use a fist. But if you pull out a knife, then you're going to end up probably being charged. So this is the thing too, is that you can legally carry a gun depending on the circumstances, but you could only use it in self-defense if the attacker ends up pulling out a gun, or you feel like your life or loved ones' lives are in danger and of like actually being killed. And that's the only time, from what I understand, in Canada you can use a gun in self-defense. But even then, it all depends on the circumstances, and it comes down to the judge and the case and everything. You can't just carry a gun and some dude pulls out a knife and decides to stab you and you try to shoot him, unless like you can somehow claim that your life was in danger. They would probably state that you exceeded that force by using a gun, and you should have probably used your fists or a knife. It's really stupid and dumb in Canada. It just all depends on the circumstances, but those are the laws out here. They don't want ordinary citizens, law-abiding citizens, to protect themselves, even though criminals don't care about the law and they're going to carry weapons regardless, which makes no sense to me. And the fact that police officers can carry a baton, a taser, pepper spray, and a gun and use all four of those in an act of self-defense, even if their life isn't in danger, just blows my mind, because citizens are supposed to have more rights than the police officers. So if a police officer can use a baton, a taser, pepper spray, or last means necessary, a gun, why wouldn't a citizen be able to use the same self-defense? And that just goes to show you, a cop you could be pulling a knife out on and they're going to shoot you right away. Even if like you don't stab them or do anything, they're going to say their life was in danger. But if a citizen ended up doing that, chances are they'd probably end up being criminally charged. But like I said, it all depends on the circumstances. So I agree with Joe Rogan 100%. Trudeau is a complete idiot when it comes to self-defense. As a victim of being attacked and jumped for no reason at all other than being in the wrong place, the wrong time, it just, like even some of my friends have died to some of these incidences, that I'm a strong believer and, stand for that Canadians, citizens should have the right to protect themselves and use self-defense, as long as they're law-abiding citizens and they go through the proper procedures and the proper laws and the proper everything to actually withhold those rights. You can see where if everyone had a gun, there could be a lot of unprovoked and a lot of stupid shootings where people think they're using self-defense, but they really aren't. It's like when somebody breaks into your house and they run off, you can't actually go chase behind them and use force, or then you'd be charged. So there's a lot of, there would have to be a lot of education and screening, and the right people would have to get the guns and everything and use it for self-defense. So I see where Trudeau's saying that the only guns you can use are for sporting and hunting, and you can't necessarily use them for self-defense. Well, you can use them for self-defense, it just depends on the situation. But you can't just go to a store and buy one for self-defense. It's got to be for sporting or hunting. So I hope that cleared everything up. And yeah, I agree with Joe Rogan, but like that's the thing, is like I said, there would be a lot of unnecessary shootings going on, people claiming self-defense even though they don't. So, but at the same time, criminals don't care, they carry guns anyways, but chances are criminals are only going to shoot criminals or things that's going on. So that's just the way it is in Canada, and that's the laws until it changes. So I just wanted to inform everyone and share my opinions and thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about the self-defense laws in Canada, and yeah, you all know what to do. like this video, share with your friends and family so they're aware, comment down below, and click that subscribe button right there. It takes 2 seconds. It's free, helps me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Stay safe. God bless you all. Take care, and peace out.